very, very beautiful morning to you. You're welcome to Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Kingsley Mano. Very, very happy to be here this morning to bring you up to speed with the latest revolving round, the beautiful world of sports. On that minute this morning, new Handball Federation President pledges unity within a federation. And coming in from rugby, Fiji beat Nigeria to historic rugby World Cup sports. And in football, Chelsea legends slams team after shock home defeats. These and many more will be yours after the short time out. Stay with us. Yeah, welcome back as the Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network. And of course, joining me to do justice on the show this morning is Emmanuel Michael. Good morning to you, Mike, and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me this morning. Glad to be here.
All right, let's quickly start the show this morning with basketball, as we saw some fantastic or an impressive performance, of course, from home team, talking about Rivers Hoopers in the Nigerian Basketball League. As Rivers Hoopers basketball team took a bold step towards their title defense in the final phase of the Nigerian Premier Basketball League with a dominant display from the Kingsmen. The six-time Premier Basketball League champions showed grit and resilience right from the start of the game to beat their counterpart Hoops and Reed 73-50 in a mouth-watering clash yesterday. With the emphatic win, the Kingsmen are now closer to their 7th title in the Nigerian Premier Basketball League after winning the last edition. And of course, was of course a good outing for River Supers against Hoops and Reed, putting up another dominant, performance. Mike, what do you make of that performance yesterday from River Supers?
I think it was impressive outing for River Supers. Coupled with the fact that they are playing at a very familiar terrain, they are playing at home. That have somehow pulled some of the fans to turn out in their numbers at the Niger Street yesterday to, of course, watch that very one. I actually kept tab with the proceedings of that game yesterday, and it was such a fantastic display from Rivers Hoopers, who won the championship or the title last time out. Just like you stated, it is a bold step taken by Rivers Hoopers to defending the championship that they won last time out. And I think they've started in an impressive note. Hoops and Reed is a very strong side. If you consider how they came far last season, they were one of the impressed team last season. You will also understand how, resilient Rivers Hoopers were before they can, be able to defeat Hoops and Reed, a very strong side as well, but by 73 to 50. The margin of that game may not have really, tell the story on how the Hoops and Reed also displayed impressively, but then, what people get to ask is who won the game, and it is Rivers Hoopers that won the game. Despite the large margin of the points, I can still tell you that Hoops and Reed put up an impressive outing yesterday as well, while I was following that game. It's just that Rivers Hoopers seems to have it going their way, and they were very fantastic as well, with one or two players, a US-based player who they also drafted into the final phase of the competition. It was also very impressive. And taking a look at the way it is going, it's looking likely that Rivers Hoopers might just possibly, defend the title that they won last time out, without any disrespect to other teams like Boko City Chiefs, Nile University, Kwara Falcons as well. But then, when I watched the display of Rivers Hoopers yesterday, I can assure you that if they did not win this very one, then something must be wrong somewhere. That is, if they keep up with the speed and the pace, the agility that I saw in their game yesterday.
Could home advantage, of course, no. Do you think home advantage contributed to this display we've seen from them?
Yeah, I of course talked about that earlier. I've said for the fact that they were playing at home, that also, helped the fans to turn out in their numbers, at the Niger Street yesterday, compared to where if they were playing it maybe far away in the west, maybe Lagos or Kano. The fans, many of them might not have, gone there because of the transportation fare and all of that. So I think the home advantage really played a key role for Rivers Hoopers. And, there is something about games, either football games, basketball, any game at all. When the key actors in the system, talking about the players, whenever they get to start a game and they are seeing large number of a crowd, especially those that are for them cheering, I mean, there is this spirit that it revives in them to, of course, want to double their efforts. That is just naturally what happened yesterday. We saw some handful of fans turning out yesterday, cheering Rivers Hoopers, and I think that had propelled them as well to, of course, live up to the expectation.
Impressive one for River Supers, and of course, I look forward to see what comes up from them. How, of course, they push up, from here was really a good outing from the Kingsmen, and we'll see how it goes. Other results we saw yesterday in the Nigerian Premier Basketball League, Lagos Legends got past Nigerian Customs 73 to 68. Kano Pillars, of course, lost to Bogo City Chief 52 to 50. And the likes of Nile University, they beat Kwara Falcons 76 to 74. Away from that, let's take a look at some results coming from the NBA this morning as the Detroit Pistons they got past, I beg your pardon, they lost against Cleveland Cavaliers 116 to 95. It ended in favor of Cleveland Cavaliers. Philadelphia 76ers, they of course beat Orlando Magic 136 to 124. And the likes of Chicago Bulls, they beat Atlanta Hawks 128 to 123. And Houston Rockets beat Brooklyn Nets 137 to 109. It ended down there. New Orleans Pelicans lost to Boston Celtic 122 to 90. It ended in favor of Boston Celtic. San Antonio Spurs they beat Toronto Raptors 121 to 103. Dallas Mavericks, of course, they were also in action against Oklahoma City Thunder. But to bring the result, of course, from that one. But Mike, Cleveland Cavaliers, getting back to winning ways once again.
Yeah, definitely. Came back to winning ways once again. I think it was a good outing for them. It's just that you take a look at the standing, though a few games have been played, about four games so far in the Western Conference. They are not up there when you talk about the early birds that have topped the table. You can see the likes of San Antonio Spurs, Oklahoma City Thunder, then Golden State Warriors also up there. Then you talk about the Eastern Conference, we're having Chicago Bulls and Philadelphia 76ers, up there as well. So I think they still need to maintain this momentum going forward if they truly want to start the season very strong, because starting the season very strong, it gives you that advantage before you get to match day 10, match day 15, 20, and you are up there. I mean, there is this belief that you build on the team, on the players to wanting to, of course, do more. But if you're not starting the season very well, then it becomes very shaky for you when you get to match day 10, 15, 20 or thereabout, and you are seeing other teams up there with large points margin. Then there is this pessimistic we setting that probably you are not going to do well. So I think it's good for them for the victory, but I just want them to, of course, follow up this in their next game so as to, of course, finish very strong.
LeBron James, LA Lakers, they struggle against Portland Trail Blazers, ended 122 to 108. What do you make of the season for the Lakers?
I think the season is just getting beginning, so I can't really say much about that. But for LeBron James, I think he is a key factor in that very team. He's aging seriously, but then age, according to some person, are just a number. I still believe that he has what it takes to, of course, carry the team along. Currently, they are in the 6th position in the Western Conference. Like I said, just 3 games gone down, 4 games or thereabouts from the Western Conference. But we see how it goes. This is just the beginning of some things that we have to see in the NBA this season.
Just the beginning of some things we're to see in the NBA. LeBron, of course, wasn't even in that one we saw yesterday. Golden State Warriors, they got past Memphis Grizzlies 131 to 118. And Timberwolves lost to Denver Nuggets, ended 127 to 114. Those are the latest results coming in from the NBA early hours for today. Away from that, let's move on. As the National Sports Commission recently conducted elections across 18 federations, resulting in a new president and board members being inaugurated at the Moshood Abiola Stadium. The leaders emphasized the need for accountability and transparency, as these individuals will be tasked with growing their respective federations to expand beyond existing limits. So, Mike, we have new presidents, in the different federations, as it stands. What should they look at this point in time? We're talking about Nigerian Sporting Federation, to improve, develop, get sponsorship, involve in grassroots, sport development and all of that. Now is a new regime to say, another moment, to ride, as it stand what is your expectation? Talking about the election being done and the new president we now have and the different expectation. What are your expectations from them?
First off, there must be unity. All right, that is the first point to start, because some of this federation, we've seen, bitter rivalry within the house. We've seen, dissenting opinions, all right, from members that have made it very difficult for, the federation to work effectively. So for me, I think first off, there must be unity, because if they are not united, then there is this tendency that the house that is divided against itself by the popular scripture will certainly not stand. So for me, first off, there must be unity. As new president emerges in different sporting federation, I expect the new president to, of course, bring all together to one round table, let them douse whatever tension that some have been holding in the past against one another, because that is the only way forward. If they are not united, then I can still tell you that those that I feel aggrieved within can also be working against the new president, not to actualize some of the lofty ideas that he or she might have in stock. So first off, unity of purpose is key for we to take the next step in our sporting development. And then again, you see, building up to some of this election, there were accusations and counter accusations from some members, in quotes, that certain persons try to influence the outcome of such an election. So if you step into office as a new president and you don't take cognizance, you don't pay detailed attention for you to reconcile, and extend the olive branch to other persons that feel aggrieved prior to the election, and you just think that now, oh, you are the boss, therefore you call the big shot, you can just give directives and you expect it to be carried out to the letter. No. Humans are human. The way and manner humans are tailored, the way they function is quite different. And that is why humans are somehow complicated. You must tread with caution for you to bring all in board for we to have a very successful administration. So I think that is the first point. Then second point, after bringing everybody on a certain, one trajectory movement, then you get to also seek their opinions on how to chart a way forward for the federation. Because that you are the boss of such a federation doesn't mean that you are indeed the iota of knowledge. Knowledge begins and ends with you. There are other things that other floor members or members of the board know that you might not be privy to. So first off, after bringing all to one table, seek for their opinions, seek for their ideas. Let each and everyone bring their ideas to the table. Then you can also cross-pollinate those ideas and add the one that you feel should be added and subtract some. That is how a leader does. And by so doing, you see that everybody will be happy, willingly working for the federation to achieve a successful things within the federation. So for me, after that, then there is no way to start a positive life as a new president than to go back to the grassroots. All right, we keep talking about the grassroots. Grassroots is not just talking it or saying it on the media, on the pages of newspaper. There must be a realistic steps moved by each federation's president, to go down to the grassroots, right from the primary school levels. I remember the days where, we're still growing up. You see school, primary and secondary school sports festival that year was something, huge, that when you get to that time, students are always very excited. Why? Because there is a school sports festival. And from there, and then you get to see some person from sport ministries coming to watch some of those primary and secondary school games. And that is how they get to pick some of the talents that they see potentials in them, and probably take care of them and start training them until they get to a stage where we can say, okay, these ones are fully fit to be incorporated or integrated into the senior level. That is the way to go. Because this fire brigade approach of we always relying on an already made is not helping us at all. It has made us to lose focus about the local breed, the local talents that we have here. All that we do these days in the world of basketball, football, or any other sporting federation is that we just sit back and wait for a Nigerian who has, or wait for a sportsman who has a Nigerian roof, a basin outside, to say, okay, he or she is doing fine. Let we go and talk to the person, or maybe the parent of such person, so that he or she can think of switching allegiance to Nigeria. This is what we do these days, and it is not working. All right, so there must be a deliberate step and plan towards going back to the grassroots and try to catch them young. And by so doing, I think the sporting ecosystem can get back to where we can boldly say, yes, we are ready to compete against the rest of the world.
All right, let's see how it goes. It's a new dawn, and we look forward to see what the president they will do this time around. We look forward to see something huge coming from them. Malan Shehu Diko, chairman of the National Sports Commission, congratulated the newly elected members on being chosen by their peers, stakeholders, and the nation. He highlighted that the election is a responsibility call to service, innovation, and economic contributions through sports. The chairman further emphasized the need for collaboration among all stakeholders, including athletes, coaches, officials, and administrators, as well as unity within the federation under this new agenda. Diko emphasized that responsibility is not only ceremonial, but expected to be active, innovative, and result-driven leaders who will translate investments into tangible outcomes such as competitive athletes, good governance, capacity building, resource mobilization, infrastructure utilization, youth and grassroots engagements, integrity, and anti-doping. So we'll see how all of this, of course, will pan out. We wish the new president the best of luck and see what they bring to the table at the end of the day. Away from that, the immediate past president of the Nigerian Wrestling Federation, Daniel Igali, has penned a hearty reflection on his journey as leader of the sport while expressing faith in the leadership of the new president, Bashir Adewale. Igali, in a lengthy post on his Facebook page, reads, 12 years, countless memories, one unending love. Wrestling, quoting Igali, Igali said yesterday, I arrived at that moment after 12 fulfilling years as president of the Nigerian Wrestling Federation. I laid down the mantle, having served the maximum tenure under the National Sports Commission's guideline. Mike, what do you make of it? Igali has finally handed over the baton. What do you make of his 12 years of leadership in the Wrestling Federation?
I think I will describe it as that of success. You know, it was success-filled. If there is one sporting federation in the country that you can, beat your chest and say yes, I think they've done pretty well in the last 12 years that he has been in office. I think Daniel Igali should be among those. And for me, I think maybe he deserves an award from the SWA. I'm talking about the Sport Writers Association, because this is one of the ways to, of course, honor those that have
now that SWAN is celebrating their 60 years.
Exactly.
They should give him an award.
Definitely, definitely. Because, in fact, the SWAN 60th celebration coincided with some of these, election, which should have been a golden opportunity for them to also identify with those that have been building, capacity in the world of sport right here in Nigeria, because by doing so, then others that are also stepping into that shoe also will be aware that the Sport Writers Association that serves as the eagle eyes of sporting activities right here in the country are also monitoring their own progress as well, knowing fully well that if they do well, they will be honored, they will be recognized. But if you do bad, then the SWAN as well can also wear the big stick against such persons. So for me, for Daniel Igali, I think he has been a massive 12 years stay. You know, there are some persons are even pleading that he should stay. Yeah. Some were even saying that he should find a way to, of course, amend the constitution to, to accommodate, which for me, I think will be anti-democracy, despite the fact that we've seen him done good, but then you don't have to bend the arms of the law just for you to accommodate certain interests. All right, and the encomium that is pouring in clearly tells how good he has done. Under his leadership, we have seen wrestling federation achieve a lot. In fact, about 150 medals won within Africa and the continent of the world under his 12 years regime. That is massive. We've also seen a resurgence in the Wrestling Federation whenever they go out for any major competition. If they did not finish at top, you certainly see them within first, second, third position, and that is improvement for me. We've seen him also investing massively in the youth development programs. In fact, as we speak, you are aware that he has a wrestling school that he is breeding young wrestlers, which for me I think is massive. During the course of his stay, he has been able to unite all the different state wrestling association. This is one federation that in the course of 12 years, I never heard that they had any in-house fighting. All right. Why? Because you have a man who truly understands what it takes to man such affair, to be diplomatic, to accept blames, to accept responsibility, take correction, and of course perfect his craft. And that is why, because of the love that he have also embedded within the system, people are not happy that he's leaving. This is the first time that you are seeing a Nigerian holding a very sensitive position and he's about to leave. People are like, no, let him stay. Let's find a way to amend the constitution to accommodate. Just like what we saw with the present CAF president, when there was mooted that he's not going to run for the next election. Some association even wanted to pull out of CAF. Why? Because they saw the man as a new face, a new dawn in the CAF. So this is what Daniel Igali represents. So for me, I think, he has achieved a lot during his 12-year spell. If other chairmen in different sporting federations have done half of what Daniel Igali did to the Wrestling Federation of Nigeria, my brother, I think today we should be competing with the likes of Egypt, Tunisia, Morocco when you talk about sport, because these days Morocco has taken the lead when you talk about sport development, courtesy of having right people at the right position, willing to do the right thing. And that is why I say that if you have few persons in other federations that did half of what Daniel Igali did or achieved, I tell you, maybe by now, the Nigerian sporting ecosystem would have even gotten to a point where we can say, yes, at least we are not up there yet, but then we are seeing something positive that gives us that hope that in the near 2, 3, 4 years, then we'll be there.
Talking about the new president of the Wrestling Federation, Bashir, how well do you know him? And do you think, of course, he can fill in that shoe of Daniel Igali?
It's a very big shoe, all right. For Bashir, I think he's been around, but not that much around, because not much has been heard of him. Although, if you take a look at his portfolio and regalia, I think he speaks volume, but sometimes some of these paper document doesn't really speak the realities on ground. It goes beyond just being a PhD. It's about knowing the way to navigate your way through the difficulties, knowing the nuances of what it takes to do the right thing at the right point in time to get results. There is a difference between you going to school in Harvard University and having primary knowledge of what to do, how to relate with your people within the working environment. You might be so big that you have a PhD or even doctorate degree, yet administratively you are F9. You can't even work within your family, not to talk about the extended, family of controlling people with different voices, with different ideas and opinions, different interests. So it is one thing, and that is what I've seen with Bashir. But then we'll just wait and see. But then one thing is certain, that he's going to step into a very big shoe, because Daniel Igale have also, made that shoe very wide, that it will take a lot of courage, dedication, resilience, and ready to work for anyone to step into that shoe and possibly fill that void in a way and manner that Nigerians will not be complaining that after some years that Daniel Igale left, they will be saying, oh, how I wish Daniel Igale was still there. So we'll just wait and see what he brings to the table.
The big question is the Wrestling Federation in safe hands after Daniel Igale finally handed over the baton? We'll keep our fingers crossed, just like Mike said, and see what comes up, in the coming days in wrestling. Still talking about, federation, the right sporting federation down here in Nigeria. Newly elected president of the Karate Federation of Nigeria, Ms. Fusat Dainde, has outlined her main priorities for the federation as she hits the ground running. Popularly referred to as Iyalaje worldwide, Ms. Yakini, who is the chairperson of the Kogi State Karate Association, where she was spotlighted before climbing the ladder to become the president of the federation, has indeed been a solid rock behind the development of karate in Nigeria. As a business tycoon who shuttles the United States of America occasionally, Ms. Fusat Dainde from Kogi State, North Central, is a great lover of martial arts. Mike, what do you make of the lady on board now in the Karate Federation? Does she have what it takes? We heard she's a great lover of martial arts.
Yeah, for the lady, I think is one lady that have also contributed a lot to the world of karate right here in the country. How she was spotted is courtesy of her impressive show at a Kogi State, where she was, spotlighted from the little thing that she was doing, how she was so supportive and also bringing different ideas in the world of karate. And a lady that is also exposed, she's popularly known Iyalaje. Before you are known of such a famous name, means that you are doing something positive that some person fell in love with, because before you be given a nickname that have made you so popular, it means that you have endeared yourself to the people, and there must be something good that you are doing that people want to identify with you, because if you have a very bad name tag, nobody wants to identify with you. People disassociate themselves with you. But if you have a popular name tag that people have come to reckon, there must be something so special about that name tag. And of course, I believe she's had what it takes rather for her to, of course, step into that shoe and make some changes, because Karate Federation is not one of those federations that we often see some activities here and there, to see how we can be able to develop the game. So I think with her level of exposure as well, maybe, just maybe, we're going to see a new dawn within the Karate Federation. And sometimes they say that what a man can do, a woman can also do it better. Now we are having a woman at the ends of affair. There is a school of philosophy that women, they are often very, very articulate and intentional when they get to do something. So I just hope that she is that very articulate and intentional person that is coming to change the face of karate, where we can begin to use karate as one of our major sporting events, that whenever we go for any continental or intercontinental competition, at least we can go out there and fight gallantly to bring some laurels back home.
All right, let's see how it goes. Take a look at another federation now this morning. The newly elected president of the Handball Federation of Nigeria, Ms. Jubri Saudi Oji, has pledged to unite all stakeholders and drive the development of handball across the country, promising to build on the massive achievements of his predecessor, Mr. Samuel Echeo. In his inaugural address, OJ expressed deep gratitude to the delegates and the handball community for the trust reposed in him, describing his election as a statement to the strength of our shared vision for Nigerian handball and collective commitment to excellence. He assured that his administration would focus on grassroots revival, player welfare, infrastructure development, and international competitiveness, while fostering a culture of love, peace, and inclusivity within the sport. Mike, there is another federation that so many are also crying that the president, talking about Samuel Chewo, of course, has also handed over. But we've seen how handball has been formidable under the leadership of Samuel Chewo, as it stands. Now we have a new president. Are we going to see? Do you think we'll continue to see something impressive in the handball federation?
I just hope so. I just hope so. Whenever a standard is set, there is this tendency that the predecessor or successor rather want to, of course, build on that very high standard. Samuel Ochehu has, achieved a lot as well. When we talk about handball, it is one of the games here where they never have an issue of a sponsor. Yeah. They never have issue of, how to properly draw their calendar for the year. You can never see them running helter and skelter just to make sure that they pick up games where it was late, or teams arriving to the center of their game very late and hoping that games should be extended for them to have a rest. No. Over the course of the year, they have taken out time to outline their calendar in the way and manner that it is very comfortable to all the teams. And whenever they give out their, statements, it is what it is. When they tell you that the league is going to start by so day, that is how it's going to be. There's no tentative where we say, okay, the league is starting so day, but then there might be. No, we've seen some level of consistency within the handball, federation, and I think for me, it's a nice one that we are seeing a new leadership taking over from Samuel Cheho that have set a very high standard. All right, I just pray and hope that at this point where even the president of the country, talking about Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is also paying so much emphasis on sport that we must take sport to the next level. In fact, they had to even add 5%, to say, okay, this is the punchline or the target mark that we want sport to be adding to the national revenue, 5%. I think for me, taking a look at all of this, if all the newly elected president can also work with that roadmap and with that thought and the intention that we want to make sport a viable venture that can also contribute its own, GDP into our, state coffers, then it's going to be a good one for us. But then sometime, like I said, he talked about unity and love. That is one of the primary things that he's going to do. I agree. I mentioned that in the earlier intro where I said that without unity, then achieving success will be very difficult. There must be that unity and love. Unity in the sense that you need to work with those of them that went into the heart with you, because during the course of this election, people that were candidates vying for those particular positions, they have their own cliques. I have my own cliques. You have your own cliques. You want to become the president. Building up to the election, you are working your own roadmap, trying to see how to, sell your ideas to rest of the members. You have your group. I have my group, trying to sell my own ideas and agenda as well. And at the end of it all, it is only one person that is going to occupy that seat. Means that human being what they are, you might not feel happy that I'm occupying the seat. I might not feel happy that you won the election to occupy the seat. So at this point, personal interest must be killed if the federation must move forward. Personal interest must be killed. And self-aggrandizement, in the sense that, you say, now that you are the president, you tell me what to do, and your decision is final. No, We are working for the unity, for the progress of the same federation. So you ask for my opinion, I bring my opinion, you bring your opinion, we put it together and we walk forward. So I think unity, love should be the key for him to, of course, maintain that high standard that Samuel Ocheho has left. And we're hoping that God help him to achieve that.
Of course, we pray that God help him to achieve this particular one, a huge one, ahead of him at this point in time. All right, let's stay away from the Sporting Federation down here in Nigeria to take a look at rugby this morning as the Fiji Women's Rugby League team, Bulikula, defeated Nigeria and Canada over the weekend to secure their first ever qualification for Rugby League World Cup. The Fiji women rugby team defeated the Nigerian Green Falcons 62-4 in a dominant display to reclaim the final qualification spot, marking a defining moment for women's rugby in Fiji. 62-4. What a margin, Mike?
It was a disappointing one at a time where we were even very hopeful that the Nigerian rugby team was going to at least, do us proud. Though they did pretty well, getting to this very point where they got to the final. It doesn't come easy, but with their impressive outing during the course of the tournament, we thought heading to the final and squaring up against Fiji is going to be a good one for us to, of course, win this very one. Not just winning it, but also, picking one of the tickets for next year's World Cup. But then it's quite disappointing the way and manner they were beaten by Fiji, who also were on course to make their own record as well. And I think for me, it was a great outing for the Fiji, but for the Nigerian rugby team, I think they just need to take the positive out of the game going forward, because they've actually come, so far, getting to the final. Losing in such a way to Fiji is not a good one, but then, like I said, they need to take some positive from their outing this year. Positive in the sense that they had other big, name teams that were there, started the game as well, but they couldn't even go far. But the Nigerian women team, surprisingly, got to the final. They were about picking the World Cup ticket for next year before they were beaten. So sad, but then I must also commend them for their efforts as well.
It's been a long time we heard of Nigerian rugby getting to this stage, of any competition. But that margin for me was not a good one, 62-4. I think, of course, just like Mike said, there are a lot of positive, of course, to learn from this, and we'll see what comes up, for the Nigerian Rugby Federation going forward. Now, with the results, New Zealand, Australia, Samoa, Papua New Guinea, Papua New Guinea, France, Fiji, Wales, and England are now confirmed participants for next year's Women's Rugby League World Cup in Australia. The victory not only cements Fiji's place on the global stage, but also highlights the growing strength and depth of Women's Rugby League across the Pacific this time around. All right, so let's quickly move down as we'll bring you the latest coming from Formula One this morning. As Lando Norris said his dominant victory in the Mexico City Grand Prix has boosted his confidence that he can win his first world title this year. So, Mike, really getting close for Lando Norris, as it stands. And what do you make of it? You think with about 4 races remaining, he can clinch this one?
Yeah, he can, but then he still faces a very tough competition from his teammate, talking about Oscar Piastri, and of course the man of the Red Bull, talking about Max Verstappen. Although the Constructors' Championship is already won and lost, but then the Drivers' Championship is still very much on. And 3 of these drivers are still in. Any of them can still win it with just 4 races to go. Oscar Piastri, Max Verstappen, and Lando Norris. It's just that the victory over the weekend in the Mexican Grand Prix have also, extended Lando Norris point lead for the first time after losing it to his teammate, Oscar Piastri. Some time ago, he assume the first position yet again. But then it is not an Uhuru yet. He needs to, of course, keep his eye on the ball and fight till the last game, because, like I said, it's still very much open between three of them. Talking about the Drivers' Championship, Max Verstappen, don't write him off. Then Oscar Piastri, you can't write him off. So I think he still have these two to contend. It's just that he's in a very good position right now.
All right, let's say it goes getting very much intense in Formula One as it concerns the Driver Championship. We'll keep our fingers crossed and see what comes up in the remaining, of course, the four races this season. We'll take a break now. When we return from the break, I'll bring you the latest coming from the beautiful world of football. Stay with us right back. Yeah, welcome back, Steve Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network, and of course, we'll bring you the latest revolving around the beautiful world of sports. Times of football on the show as Wikitory's technical advisor Abdullahi Maikaba has expressed satisfaction with the team's 2-0 victory over Shooting Stars in the match day 10 fixture in Bauchi. Alahi Usman and Jonathan Meriga produced the goals for the Bauchi Elephants in the game. The victory ended Wikitory's 6-game winless run in the league. Maikaba said the players showed enough character to secure the victory. Wikitories will face Baro FC next in match day 11 down there in Kano. Maikaba, of course, trying to put things right with Wikitories since they got promotion to the Nigerian Premier Football League.
Yeah, I think Maikaba, one experienced coach, is trying to find his way to navigate through the difficult start of Wikitories to the season. But with that victory, I think it's a good one for them. It has lifted them at least to a better position, because they're now seated 13th in the Nigerian Premier Football League board. They can just build on that going forward.
All right, let's see how it goes. But Mike, we understand that Finidi George is very happy that Rivers United were able to break the jinx in the CAF Champions League, getting to the group stage this time around.
Yeah, he should be happy personally, because he was able to break a jinx that over a couple of years right now, no Nigerian team have made it to that particular stage, which he has taken Rivers United to. And I think for me, on a personal ground, I think it's a good one. He should be rejoicing. But nationally, I think it's not a good one for Nigeria League. Why am I saying that it's not a good one? Can you imagine that teams like countries like Tanzania has about four teams that have passed through to this very stage that we are right now. Tanzania club, they have 4 teams presently.
The CAF Champions League.
As we speak right now. But Nigeria, we are happy that one has progressed through. Is that no embarrassment? And that is why I say that Finidi George has the right to be happy on a personal ground, but nationally, we shouldn't be. It's not something that we should be happy about.
All right, just to wrap things up at this point in time, we understand that Chelsea legends, the likes of Mikel Obi, John Terry, and the rest, even Arsenal legends as well, Paul Marcy, of course, they've all expressed their displeasure over that home defeat, of course, against Chelsea. We saw that at that one against Sunderland, of course, 2-1. It ended in that particular one. We'll talk more, on this, where we'll make a return by 6 p.m. on a Sport Extraordinary. We'll take a look at, Chelsea's performance as well as other interesting issues are revolving around the beautiful world of sports. Special thanks to Mike for doing justice on the show this morning. You can go down to our different social media handle, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X as well, as the conversation continues right there. My name is Kingsley Manuel. Thanks for watching.